Yo, what's up, YouTube? This is my first live stream, and I've got a bunch of food here, and I don't know what I'm going to be discussing in this live stream, but I'm going to be eating this food. It's my first live stream. I've quit TikTok, and I've quit Instagram. I'm never uploading a reel again, except for on ZenFriend, my official business. But I want to start live streaming. Almost dropped my ice cream. Oh my god, no! No! What a terrible start to my first live stream ever. I dropped my ice cream on the ground. Luckily, the ground's pretty clean. This is a tragedy. So, if you look at the religious teachings, if you look at any religion, it's not some dude who sat down. Jesus didn't sit down and write the whole Bible himself. The Buddha didn't sit down and write all his teachings. None of these religions were done like that. These were created over hundreds of years. That's how these religions were created. So I'm going to come on here and I'm going to speak, and then in 100 years someone can come and they can compile all my teachings and they can create a religion out of it. And I need to try and come up with my fundamental belief system. But besides that, I think it's better to just speak. Somehow I've got a bunch of viewers. This is my first ever live stream. I'm eating a bunch of food, and I'm speaking about random things. So that's what's going on right now. This is Haagen-Dazs. These are pretty good. Happy birthday to Tiny Kitty 232. It's always important to tell people happy birthday. It's the Moana strawberry banana True Milk. Shit. Yeah. True Milk always be coming up with some creative flavors. Since there's actually people here, ask me anything, because I have a vast amount of wisdom and I need to share it with the world. And it's easier than me trying to come up with it on my own, if you ask me a question. So, what inspires someone to comment, "I just farted milk"? What is the thought process behind that? I hope it's not true. That'd be pretty nasty. Bro. So, I'm just reading this comment. You said your construction business failed, which I think construction is one of like a very in demand business. So it's kind of a bummer if it failed, but you might want to reevaluate what went wrong, because construction is, everyone needs some construction at all times. It's hard work, but if you're willing to put in the hard work, then you can't really go wrong. Milk doesn't dehydrate you. It's like 90% water. I'm not getting diarrhea from any of this because this is my diet that I eat every day and I'm fine. Thanks to the person who realizes I'm XQC. This is my alt account. I don't advise you to eat this every day, but I have like a half gallon of milk a day, which is fine. And if you have like one of these a day, that's fine. But you should try and limit the amount of sugar you eat. And you should try and make sure that you're eating clean ingredients. Oh, there's only 3 in here. That's a scam. Haagen-Dazs is so expensive, but if you look at the ingredients, it has the best ingredients. So, anyone asking what I'm doing with the stream, if you look at any religion, these religions, people recorded these wise people speaking over hundreds of years, and then other people went and they consolidated all of these teachings into like the Bible or into a book. And so, as the most wisest prophet of the modern age, I'm consolidating my teachings into YouTube live streams so that in 1,000 years, someone can consolidate my teachings and create a religion. What does "am I the first leader" mean? I'm also just eating a bunch of food because it's fun. So you have the prophet sitting in front of you, and all you can ask is, "What is your favorite fruit?" Come on. If you were face to face with Jesus, would you ask him, "What's your favorite fruit?" I like avocados, bananas, kiwis. Let me just, I have a document of some of my fundamental teachings. So let me just pull it up and I'll see if it inspires anything. I do have a document, but I'm not gonna reveal it because I'm I'm building my fundamental teachings. I'm considering, I don't want to talk too deeply about like religion just because it's just a thing where if you don't agree with people, then they're just gonna become extremely angry at you and cancel you. And if you say something bad about it, then your most people that are part of that religion will not respect you. So this box is empty. Here's something. So, oh, you're watching the World Cup. So, the fundamental structure of my beliefs is eudaimonia, which is a Greek word that means human flourishing. So, I believe in the flourishing of oneself and the future of mankind. Remember back in the day when it was like a step on the moon? That's a big step for, I don't remember, but like it's the quote. It's like one big step for mankind. It actually meant something. Now people just want money. Bro, you asked me what I'm eating like 5 times, and I've shown it multiple times. See, social media, Instagram, all this shit, it caused people to be in a state where they act in order to impress others. And everything they do is just for the sake of other people. But you gotta do things for yourself. Like, there's no reason to even take a picture with yourself in it, because the only purpose that serves is to impress other people. This is pretty good. It's not bad. I don't recommend eating anything like this, because this is pure cancer and sugar and diabetes and slop. And so I'm going to eat all of them. Let's talk about this. Humans have been around for thousands of years. We're complex thinking. We're able to we're able to save ideas, and we're able to build on our knowledge. It's been thousands of years. We haven't gotten any better, and arguably we've gotten worse, I would say, besides like the improvement of our technology. But like philosophically and culturally and socially, I don't think we've gotten any better, and I think we've probably gotten worse. Uh, it's also partially a result of our technological advancements. Like phones are the biggest thing. So, like when you think about it in the grand scope of things, it's like we've only had phones for like 30 years, which is literally such a short amount of time. Like 30 years compared to like the world has been here for millions of years. It's like absolutely nothing. But we need to turn things around. The world is going down, and we need to bring it back up. And unfortunately for us, we're here at that 30-year period where the world has been brought down into darkness. But like, I don't know. There's so many things. There's so many layers, and each time you peel back one layer, it just brings up more questions. But like, a big thing is, imagine if we all just agreed on some things, and we figured those things out, and those things were just that way, and it would save a lot of confusion and wasted efforts. Like, imagine if you went in the grocery store and there was like, well, two aisles, and you could just walk in and be like, oh, get these things, and walk out, and everything would be fine. Like, we can make a structured diet plan and only sell the things in the grocery store we need, but instead we have like 1,000 different companies all just like forming a bunch of slop into different shapes, a bunch of chemicals, and their only goal is to addict us for their own profit. For those of you watching this stream, Stay or leave, for I do not care. My goal is not to capture your attention, but to preach my truth to the world. May it be 10 years from now, 100 years from now. I do not care when these beliefs will spark a new truth into this era. But for I know one day it will come to be. And when that day comes, I shall be vindicated by the populace, and the truth that I teach shall change the fundamental fabric of society itself. Reality is neither to be worshipped nor rejected, but understood. Life is the process of becoming, truth, growth, and presence. These are the values that we believe in. Most religions will begin with what is good, but I seek to begin with what is true. You see, the hardest part, the hardest part of determining what you should do or what you think others should do or the way the world should be is that we don't know what makes what makes something worth doing or not worth doing, what makes something what you would consider good or bad. And the problem is you can never answer this because it's just what's the point of life? But that's not a question you can ever answer with an actual concrete answer. And that makes it hard to come up with any sort of fundamental beliefs because there's nothing you can structure. There's no foundation that can be built besides a philosophical or a moral foundation. But you can't ever support that with more than just philosophical or moral arguments. There's no factual things to be found when it comes to what is the meaning of life. And that's an issue. Because if we want to set up our beliefs, what do we base them on? Well, you could base them on the fact that the meaning of life is unsure. And if we look at another religion, Buddhism, it's based on that you need to reach nirvana. most religions are based on you need to reach heaven. So they're taking this idea of uncertainty and they're placing a structure in place, a fundamental fact that is the goal of life, and those are the things you need to strive to reach. But it's just smoke in your face. Saying going to heaven, that's smoke in your face. It distracts you from the bigger question. Because if you say, oh, I need to do this, this, and this, it's easy, and you follow along and you do whatever. But when you try and look a little deeper, it's like, what if there is no heaven? Then what? Then well, you followed all these beliefs because you wanted to go to heaven. But what if there is no heaven? Are you not going to follow those beliefs anymore? Are you going to be a sinner? A killer? So, uh, basically, it seems the only foundational belief that we can. I need to write this down. Why am I in suggest? The only foundational, the only factual belief, the only foundational factual belief that we can structure upon is that the true meaning to life is unsure. And that's important because if the true meaning to life is unsure, then that means that you can't really have anything that's concrete. Everything that you come up with has to be flexible, or it has to be based on something. I don't know. But basically, anything you come up with it can't be based on a fact. It has to be based on this is this way because of this, probably. But it's basically like any rule, any belief you try to impose, you basically have to understand that, like, for example, you must work out because it will help you live a longer and happier life, which is probably good. But if someone's fat as shit and they eat 100 burritos every day, you still can't really say anything to them because the meaning of life could be to do whatever the hell you want and eat 100 burritos a day. But also, if someone wants to go around doing things like killing and stealing and stuff, at some point you gotta put an end to it. So The question being, why do we want to stop people who are doing bad things? And the answer most people would just say is because it's wrong or because it's illegal. But I think it's pretty important to look deeper into it. Why why do we need to stop people who do bad things? Why do we need to say it's illegal to rob and to murder? So I would say it comes down to doing something that, like, you have your own reality, your consciousness, your experience, your freedom, and there's certain things that have a negative impact on that. Like if you kill someone, it's taking that away completely. But in the same extent, it's like if you insult someone, it's also doing this something similar. And if you rob someone, this is a very this is a very complex question that I don't know if I'll be able to. It's just one of those things where you gotta be in like the flow state to come up with an answer to something so complex. Like, why do we stop people from doing bad things? I know the answer's there. I know there is an answer out there in the universe to this question. There is an answer. But it's not an easy answer to come across. But in a way, all these things are interrelated and they might all circle back to the same thing at the end of the day of the meaning of life. But the point is to try and come up with the best answer possible. So you could look at it this way. We don't know what the meaning of life is, and there's no way to come up with a concrete answer. So you could say that the meaning of life is to maximize your own experience or growth, and people doing bad things would negatively impact that. It's interesting. Yeah, I think I think I've spoken enough for now. It's been 40 minutes. I think we made some decent progress with the only foundational factual belief that we can structure upon is that the true meaning to life is unsure. So we'll have to continue building from there. And that's not to go against the flourishing for oneself and for the future of mankind. But maybe as we continue to build upon this, that will find its own place. But for now, I feel like that's going to have to be a fundamental belief and guiding view. And there's still a lot of facts that we can foundationally build upon, like the fact that I'm a human and my brain is controlled by electric signals and chemicals. And you can do a lot just based solely off of that, which is a pretty deep thing to get into. And like this ice cream is 900 calories. That's a fact. And if I eat this ice cream every day, I'm going to get fat. That's a fact. And if I get fat, I'm going to get diabetes and have a heart attack and have a miserable life. And that's a fact also. So, even though there's some things that are uncertain, there's still some facts that you can identify. And I think that will be pretty important in the long run if you want to have a coherent structure to follow. But yeah, we need to keep building upon this and see where it goes. And see, I think the logic should hopefully work itself out. But there's some good stuff here. And again, I'm trying to avoid religious stuff for now. I have a lot that I could say about it, but at this point in time, it's not worth it. Especially when my own beliefs are still in a very early stage of development. And again, I'm not really concerned about being too structured or too orderly because the Buddha literally walked around randomly giving speeches to people. And like 400 years later, like these stories were just passed on for hundreds of years through the word of mouth until like hundreds of years later, the people actually decided to write them down. So I'm not too concerned. I think it's more important to just get the get the beliefs flowing, try and work through the logic. That's much more important. And like the Buddha literally went on some long religious journey. He didn't like, I don't know, I think it was like 4 or 6 years. Like back in that day, it was normal to just say, I'm gonna leave home and become religious and search for the truth. That was just like an accepted thing to be a holy. People respected. I feel like it almost goes back to the like in the U.S. where like you have to get a job and get money and have a family. But if you go back to the meaning of life is uncertain, that's not necessarily true. And so it's nice that like back in the day, like there was some flexibility there. Like I'm gonna leave home and I'm gonna live in the forest and I'm gonna become a holy man. And people were like, okay, and they respected them and they gave them food and they listened to their teachings and thought they were wise. And there's also things to say about that, like, I don't know, in the US we value hard work and stuff. So it's like it's hard to respect some dude who just sits around all day and does nothing. And it's like, how can your system of beliefs be tested? And like, how are your beliefs applying when they were developed under the context of you sitting in a monastery and doing nothing all day? Like, maybe, just maybe, if I'm out there in the world working my ass off, maybe I can develop some better ethics than some dude sitting down in the dirt all day who's at got his cortisol non-existent, no cortisol to be seen. But anyways, we got a lot. I think we got a good amount out here. Had some good food. So yeah, gotta keep working on this. And if things keep going this well, I can definitely see in a short time we're gonna have a pretty strong structured belief system here. But it's difficult when each each new topic has so many layers to it, and you just gotta kind of keep unpacking, keep going until you find the truth. So yeah, that's it for now. Before I keep yapping, I'll need to try and, like, when I'm in like the flow state, I need to try and write that down. So that will make it a more effective use of my time here, I think. Now I'm gonna watch Hunter x Hunter and keep eating my ice cream. What? It's watching anime? It's watching anime. Support the meaning of life? Probably not. But it's 2026 and we're all addicted to consuming content. It's better than scrolling on TikTok. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna enjoy it. This has been, I need to change my name. My name's still CIA Experience. I don't know what I'm gonna change it to. Maybe Eudaimonia. But yeah, that's it. Let's have a great night. I'm not, because I just ate hundreds of grams of sugar and it's already 11:30. But we're going to have a great night anyways, because definition of great is subjective. And if being tired and having my mind contorted by sugar, that's a great night. Amen. How do I stop